Yo, what is up, everybody? It has been a while since we've done any roofing videos, but we are back on the roof. Our season is slowly but surely going to be ending here pretty soon. Starting to get pretty cold, and it is mid-November, and we are doing another roof here. This one's interesting though, because this roof is rotting from the inside out. So you can kind of see some of the rotten spots. Basically, in this attic, they had insulation right up against the roof, and I'll show you some more later on in the video, but the insulation was right up against the roof. You can see there's no venting anywhere, and so we're getting condensation issues, and it's basically rotting from the inside out. So we are going to get to ripping this bad boy. We're not doing the whole thing, we're just doing this upper section. And yeah, I'll take you along. Be cold. His feet aren't getting cold. Mine probably will.
Fast.
A couple hours in, a little over an hour. This side's okay for whatever reason, but this side, this is what I'm talking about. This is coming from the inside. This is not leaking. It's from moisture and condensation and frost on the inside over years and years. They had batt insulation right up against the roof. There's no vents and probably not very good insulation in the floor of the attic. And so the hot and cold were meeting up here, because we get anywhere from -10 to -40 Fahrenheit just about every year. So when you get a really cold day, it's -20, and you got the heat coming out of the house, and it meets up here with this roof. It causes frost, and it's rotting from the inside out. So this is going to continue all the way down there, and all the way over there, and on that side over here, more of it. So we see this a lot in our area, especially older houses that don't have great attic insulation. You get that hot and cold mix, and with a lack of venting, this is what you get. And I've seen it where it'll get really cold and that frost will be in the attic for a month or two, and then you get a warm day and it'll be like a waterfall in people's house, and they think their roof is leaking, but what's really happening is that frost is up there. It gets so thick, and once it warms up, and it just, it starts turning into water again, and it'll go right into your house. So we got to add vents and make the attic a cold space. We need to make sure that it's cold. We need to keep the attic cold. Your attic should be cold, like near the temperature outside. Sounds a bit dead. We're waiting on shingles. It's supposed to snow and rain this evening, and it's snowing. Look at these big snowflakes. The shingle truck's just about here, so of course it'll get nice and slippery. Get nice and slippery right before we start to set shingles. We got a decent chunk today. I didn't want to go too far because I wasn't sure when we were going to get materials. And it gets dark at like 4:40. Well, there she is. Got her papered and watertight. We got all of our stuff up here. And we're going to call it a day because it's going to be dark soon. day 2. Starting to get some shingles on. We're doing Atlas Pinnacle Pristine, and it is in pristine black. We got this part replaced. We got all new trusses or rafters, whatever you want to call them, in. And now we're working on this side, and you can see no bueno, and all them boards go underneath that wall, so it's going to be a pain in the butt. And the other side of the dormer is the same. So fun. This is going to be very time consuming. Just getting all this crap out, marrying in new studs, cutting in the new wood, getting everything all lined up and nice. But we are moving along. How many roofers out there absolutely hate cutting hips? I hate cutting hips. It's like the worst. And especially on a day like today, it's like, I don't know, probably 30 degrees, feels like 20. But I'm surprised I didn't lose any knuckles and I didn't break any hook blades. Usually I'd break like 2 hook blades when it's cold like this, but I hate cutting hips. So we got new studs married in here. 3/4 inch plywood down, all the rot is gone. And now it's time to tar paper, and what do we got, like 40-mile-an-hour winds?
Seems like it, eh?
Yeah. Isn't that how it always works? It's calm until you get the tar paper out, and then, yeah, it's an absolute nightmare. It's very windy. Well, here she is. It took us 3 days. Not full days because we got frost and cold in the morning, so we've been starting and working about 9 to 4. But it gets dark so early. Yesterday we were close to finishing, and we had a couple hours left, but it was basically dark. So there it is, all the wood's replaced. But the moral of this story is this house has soffit vents, and it has vents off this dormer. So it has venting, but it doesn't have the full vent. It has intake vents, but it doesn't have vents going out, which is what caused it to go to crap. So we put a ridge vent here. We have a pod vent, and a pod vent that we all cut in, and for the size of this roof, that will be sufficient. And then it was lacking chimney flashing. I only had white screws, so I'm gonna have to caulk those, but put on a nice chimney flashing, and that is it. But today is 50 degrees. Today's 50, and it's going to be in the 20s, teens and 20s every night. It looks like for the rest of the year, so it's going to make it harder and harder to get roofs done. But make sure when you're doing roofs, if you're not a professional, if you are a professional, you probably already know this, but especially in these old houses with bad insulation, when it gets 20 below outside, you're going to get heat loss. It's going to go into the attic. And if it's 20 below outside, it's going to cause frost and moisture in the attic. So you need to make sure that these are properly ventilated and your attic is properly insulated. That is going to prevent frost buildup, which will rot your roof from the inside out. And you won't even know it until it melts or it's too late. The other thing that they did here is they had insulation right up against the rafters. So there was no way for air to get in. And there was no way for it to get out. So moral of the story, don't do that. Make sure you ventilate your roofs properly. Now this one is another one in the books. See how many more we can get done this year. If you like that, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.